A recent article that I read on Global News highlighted the alarming statistic that 3/4 of the number of suicides occurring in Canada are attributed to men, which is 3 times higher than that of women. The article then goes on to list several reasons as to why this epidemic even exists, attributing it to things like interpersonal issues and employment and financial stress, and points to stats that show women seek help for mental illnesses like anxiety and depression more often than men do, assuming that women are deterred from committing suicide as such. These are actually very valid reasons as to why the suicide stats are so high for men, and really, they highlight the differences between men and women. Men feel valuable when they're in the provider role, and women are more apt to be open about their issues. But this article also gets into what's called the macho culture at some workplaces, posing greater status threats when a job is lost, and that gender equality in the workplace is part of the solution to ending these increasingly high numbers of male suicides. This falls in line with the toxic masculinity rhetoric that we constantly hear from feminists, which is basically a concept that suggests that the socially constructed attitudes of men being associated with violence, sexual aggression, and that they tend to be unemotional are a harmful result of the evil patriarchy. But here's something that the article didn't mention. With the rise of feminism has also come the rise in disregard for men. A man is expected to be a jack of all trades by being a provider, caregiver, and sensitive partner, and if they can't keep up, they're treated as dispensable. This tweet on Father's Day from feminist Lena Dunham really highlights that sentiment. Let me read it to you. "You don't need a father. So many families work in so many ways, but if you have one, he better work." And what about this article that basically provides a list of pros for divorcing, so that this tired wife that has a husband that works too much and 2 bratty kids can have some me time? No mention that the husband would likely have to pay ridiculous amounts of child support, where he would have to trade not only a large part of his salary, but also quality of life to be reduced to a part-time nanny by his ex-wife. What's more is that this comes at a time when women have to work less for what they have. Sure, we can pump up the stats of women increasingly becoming the breadwinners. We can talk about breaking glass ceilings, but we just can't deny that a lot of those achievements are handed to females. Women have specialized government programs, scholarships, and grants. The President of the United States, Barack Obama, even parroted the fake gender gap myth. The focus is now on women, and it seems like the whole idea of gender equality means that women are just simply more equal than men. There's a stat floating around that 97% of deaths in war are male, and they're silenced. But if it were 97% female, there would be outrage, just like there would be outrage if 3/4 of the suicides in Canada were attributed to women. I mentioned that the article I came across on Global suggested that gender equality in the workplace would be a potential solution to high numbers of male suicides. I think a better solution is simply in placing value in men. For the Rebel.media, I'm Holly Nicholas. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss the other side of the story that you're not going to find anywhere else.